earlier?
The large one.
Okay. What type of processing did you do on that?
It was photographed and visually examined, and items of suspected blood were noted with scales.
And did you do the testing on those blood drops at that point to tell if it was a positive or negative reaction?
No, not at that point.
Okay. How else did you process the armoire at that point?
That was all we did that day.
What was the next item that you processed?
The brown in color comforter collected from the master bedroom floor.
What, if anything, did you notice about that comforter?
There was if I recall, there was some suspected mud also on that comforter, as well as on the pillow without the pillowcase.
And then how about the next item?
That would be the pillow without the pillowcase, and it was visually examined and photographed with suspected mud on it.
All right. Anything else that you processed there that day, Agent Gold?
No, there isn't.
Moving on to June 16 of 2013, at that point, did you have the opportunity to process other items of evidence?
I did. I received some items from Detective Brady that were not from the crime scene, a checkbook, some clothing and shoes, and they were photographed and visually examined.
And what type of clothing did you examine?
There were several shirts, several pair of shoes. I believe there were some shorts. There was a baseball hat. There was a variety of different clothing.
And did you know where these items came from, Agent Gold?
I believe they came from an Oxford address. I didn't respond to that.
But did Detective Brady, who's seated behind me here in the courtroom, bring these items to you?
Yes.
Other than a visual examination and photographing these items, did you do any further latent evidence work on any items of evidence there that day?
There were some items with suspected blood, and I did perform some phenolphthalein tests on those areas, and I believe some swabs were also collected at that point.
We'll start with the photographs that you took. Do you recall taking photographs of some shoes there that day?
Yes, I do.
Whose shoes did you take photographs of?
No. Objection. She said she does not even tell where they were.
Sustain.
Did you take photographs of shoes?
I did.
May I approach the witness room?
Yes.
Starting with 206, 207, 208, and 209. Take a look at those photographs and tell me if you recognize what they are.
These are photographs I took of a pair of black and orange Nikes.
And do those photographs fairly and accurately represent the Nikes as you photographed them?
Yes, they do.
Your Honor, at this time I would ask to introduce State's Exhibits number 206 through 209 for illustrative purposes.
They're allowed for illustrative purposes.
And then State's Exhibit number 210, 211, 212, 213, and 214. You recognize what these photographs depict?
These are photographs of a pair of black and blue sneakers. Look like they're the brand Starter, I think.
And when you took photographs of these two shoes, did you take the photographs from different angles?
Yes, I did. And these were taken in the lab. There's an overhead, the sides, the soles.
Fairly and accurately represent the blue and black shoes.
Yes, they do.
Your Honor, at this time I would ask to introduce State's Exhibit 210 through 214 into evidence.
They're allowed for illustrative purposes.
Agent Gold, I'm going to show you what has previously been identified as State's Exhibit 60 and then 60A. And 60B. Do those appear to be the same shoes that you photographed back in June of 2013?
Yes, they do.
And these shoes were collected, can you tell by looking at the markings on the back who these shoes were collected by?
Gibney.
Gibney. And do they indicate who the shoes were collected from?
Overruled.
It says one pair Nike React sneakers, size US 9.5, black and orange, colors, suspect Travion Smith, victim, that's about what it says.
So these shoes were packaged in this bag.
That's correct.
And to your knowledge, Agent Gold, was there further processing that was done on these Nike shoes?
I don't know.
Okay. This yellow tag, do you know what this yellow tag means?
Now it looks like the shoe. It looks like a shoe print comparison might have been done with them.
And is that something that this CCBI agency does, is do shoe print comparisons?
Yes, we do have people that do that.
Your Honor, this time I would ask to introduce State's Exhibit 60, 60A, and 60B into evidence.
Any objection? They are allowed.
And then State's Exhibit number 57, 57A, and 57B. Starting with 57, can you tell who the suspect was in this case, where these shoes were collected, and so forth, as listed on the evidence back?
Suspect Ronald Anthony, Nike sneakers, blue and black, living room, front of couch, Oxford.
And what agent or detective collected those shoes according to that bag?
Detective Morse.
Okay, and Detective Morse, is that the detective that normally wears the bow tie? Do you know him?
Yes, I think it is.
Okay. And then State's Exhibits 57 and 57A. Any changes or alterations to those shoes?
No.
And those are the shoes that you photographed?
Yes, they are.
And again, this yellow tag, does it appear that it'd be a CCBI tag associated with the footwear comparison division?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time I would ask to introduce State's Exhibits 57, 57A, and 57B.
Any objection? They are allowed.
On that day in June of 2013, and again, Agent Gold, refresh my memory as to which day in June are we talking about?
June 16th.
On June 16th of 2013, did you have an opportunity to examine an iPhone?
Yes, I did receive the iPhone.
And I'm going to hand you what has been previously identified as State's Exhibit 12. If you'll take a look at State's Exhibit 12 and tell me what that is.
One Apple iPhone 5, white and gray, belonging to the victim.
And can you tell who provided you with that iPhone, ma'am?
Detective Brady.
And on what date did he provide that iPhone to you?
This was collected, it looks like May 22nd.
And can you tell when you opened that document or that envelope and first examined it?
First time it looks like would have been Sean Brady, the 16th of June.
Okay. And if you'll remove the contents of State's Exhibit 12? And what are the contents of State's Exhibit 12?
The iPhone.
And has it previously been marked as State's Exhibit number 12?
Yes, yes it has.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about what type of processing you did with that iPhone.
It was visually examined and photographed, and I think it was this one. Let me just make sure that I get this right. Yeah, and it was tested for blood with a positive reaction, and a swab would have been collected from right here, number 92.
And again, there's one of those stickers with the measurements on it, and it has a 92 on it, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and is that the area in which there would have been blood on that iPhone?
Yes.
I'm going to hand you State's Exhibits number 215 and 216. Do you recognize those photographs?
These are the photographs that I took of the phone.
And it's labeled as item 87 there. Is that the item, the CCBI item number that was assigned to that iPhone?
Yes, it is.
And you mentioned that you did some blood swabs on that iPhone. Is that correct, ma'am?
That's correct.
And before doing that, you did the presumptive test, though. Is that right?
Yes, with a positive reaction.
I'm going to hand you what has now been marked as State's Exhibit number 217. You'll take a look at 217 and tell me if you recognize what that document is, or item is.
Item 92, one suspected blood swab collected from item 87, the victim's iPhone.
And if you'll open State's Exhibit 219? What's
Okay.
the red evidence sticker there?
217.
217. All right, if you'll open 217.
Oh, sorry.
You place the 217A sticker on there, and what is that?
This is the swab that I collected from the cell phone.
And does it appear to be in the same condition, or has there been some processing to that swab?
It has been processed.
Other than that processing appear to be in the same or substantially same condition as when you collected it?
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, this time I would ask to introduce State's Exhibit 12, State's Exhibit 12A, and State's Exhibits 215, 216, 217, and 217A.
Any objection? All right. 12 and 12A, and then are admitted. 215 through 216 are admitted for illustrative purposes, and 217, 217A are admitted.
Thank you. Agent Gold, just a few other swabs I want to talk to you about. Can you take a look at State's Exhibit number 218 and what's already been marked as State's Exhibit 36?
This one first?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a swab from the master bedroom doorknob. This is another touch DNA swab that we did on the exterior master bedroom entry doorknob.
Okay. Well, so you testified earlier about a DNA swab that was taken from Hannah's doorknob. Was this another DNA swab that was taken from Melissa's doorknob?
That's correct.
If you'll open State's Exhibit 218 there.
Mistake. That's the swab.
And does that swab appear to be in the same or substantially same condition except for the processing that has been done?
That's right. It has been processed. Yes.
Your Honor, this time I would ask to introduce 218 and 218A.
Any objection? It's allowed.
And then I'm going to hand you 36.
This is a suspected blood swab from the blood transfer stain on the master bedroom wall.
And when we had those photographs earlier, there was blood transfer on, I guess, the wall at the foot of Melissa's bed. Is that the area in which that blood swab came from?
No, this would have been if you were looking at the bed to the left, the wall that the jewelry armoire was against, and the purple hamper.
Okay, so the hamper and jewelry armoire, there was blood on that wall as well.
That's correct, and this swab is from that stain.
Okay. If you can open State's Exhibit 36. And here is 36A. And again, what is 36A?
This is the swab collected from that blood stain, and it has been processed by SBI.
Your Honor, this time I would ask to introduce State's Exhibit number 236 and 236A. I'm sorry, 36A. 36 and 36A.
Any objection? They are allowed.
Agent Gold will transition a little bit into fingerprints.
Okay.
You mentioned throughout your testimony and what we've seen in some of these photographs that you attempted to obtain latent evidence in the form of fingerprints in that apartment. Is that right now?
That's correct.
And in fact, were you able to obtain latent evidence in the form of fingerprints there in that apartment?
Yes, we did.
Do you recall approximately how many fingerprints, latent fingerprints that you collected in that apartment?
Maybe 50 approximately, maybe more.
Mr. Waller, we're going to
Is that a good time to stop?
recess for the evening and resume tomorrow morning at 9:30. So members of the jury, please recall all the instructions. Don't talk among yourselves or with anyone else about the case. Don't form or express opinions about the outcome. No media or independent investigation into these matters. And no conversations with parties, witnesses, or lawyers. If you leave your notepad, set your chairs, and gather at 9:30 in the deliberation room. Thank you very much for your service to the court. Outside the presence of the jury, are there matters that we need to take up before we recess?
Your Honor, I just want to
mention, had we gotten to the point where we were going to transition to the cross-examination today, this is obviously a lot of evidence to try and be organized in your attempt to talk to a witness about. And so I don't know what will be here tomorrow. I will do my best to get here as early as possible because I don't anticipate there are many more questions, but I will need some time to make sure I have specific exhibits that I need to ask her questions about, and I know that some of the stuff isn't here in the morning. There won't be that many, but it'll just sort of take a little bit of probably Miss Winston and I just sort of figuring out which ones.
We'll be here early as well, and anything that's here in the courtroom at this point will be kept in the secure area back there, and we can go get something if need be.
So it sounds like at least it ought to be on a card or something that can be rolled right out.
Right.
Either.
I just know that that'll be some logistics, and so I thought
I mentioned it tonight because I didn't want it to be something in the morning where
What
somebody.
time would you like us to have it here? You tell me.
I mean, regardless of what time I leave my house, I don't seem to get here sometimes. I mean, I can leave at like 8 o'clock and I still don't get here until 9:15. So
Quarter till 9?
I won't be present.
Okay. Well,
But
it'll
yeah,
be here.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, I will try and get here by 9 tomorrow.
We can go off the record, continue these logistics. Is there anything else that we need to have on the record? All right, very good. Then we'll be in recess until 9:30 tomorrow morning.